Alright guys, I wanted to share with you Master Shi Heng Yi. Now he did a TED talk, and this guy is a Shaolin master, this monk, Buddhist monk, Shaolin master. He is absolutely inspiring, you know. Normally when you look at motivation videos, it's all these quotes, but this guy tells you how to practice within your life, daily life. Ordinary people like us that go to work, you know, 9 to 5, what have you, all the challenges we face daily in our life, and how to overcome them and how to handle them and how to manage them, how to manage people, how to manage negative thoughts. So I've got a whole lot of notes here from him which I'll go over, because he talks about, like, for example, the Shaolin Master Shi Heng Yi talks about the 5 hindrances that all of us human beings go through. So there's these 5 innate things that we go through. This is when you feel positive emotion, which you experience through your senses. So seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling. A great example of this is that the Master Shi Heng, he says that if you are on a destination, so if you're in a destination, you're climbing up the mountain to the top of the way, you see this lovely hotel, right? And a restaurant, lovely food, and you see people in there, you stop off for a visit. Then you decide to stay there and get comfortable. But then he mentions, like, when you follow the temptation and stay there, then you have already lost the path. Then you decide to stay there, right? And then you get comfortable. So he's trying to mention that when you follow the temptation, you've already lost the path, or lost your path. To take it further, if you don't want to leave your comfort zone, then your sensual desire has become an obsession, right? This is where you can't get clarity within the mind. So when you get too comfortable, you don't get much clarity in the mind. And this is like what he talks about, sensual desire. And that's number 1 hindrance. The next hindrance he talks about is ill will, aversion. So this is a negative emotion that creeps in your mind, disliking things, situations, even people. Great simple examples from the master was when you're climbing the mountain and it starts to rain, but you don't like the rain. Right? You discover the roads are bumpy, you don't like bumpy roads. In order to cross the river, you need to swim, but you don't like swimming. So to conclude his points, he is saying whatever it is that you dislike, it won't be a pleasant journey. Yeah, there'll be ups and downs, as we all have. You can come to a place where you let go of this ill will. If you don't let go, then it is likely you will give up the journey and end back at square one. So, you know, these things that I was reading while I was in the transformation, they really resonated with me. And then he talks about the 3rd hindrance, which is dullness and heaviness. So this is referred to the dullness of the mind and the heaviness of the body, lack of energy, which can lead to depression. This can lead to mental imprisonment, which can make you feel like a lack of motivation to make a mental or physical effort. So in order to continue the path, you need to find a way to get out of this kind of rut he talks about. And then moving on to the 4th hindrance, he talks about restlessness. So the restlessness is the unsettled mind, or as Dr. Peters calls it in his book, The Chimp Paradox, which is a great book. It's the chimp in the mind, or the other voice that you hear. The unsettled mind means that it can't settle in the present, right now, in the moment now. It's always thinking about the future, traveling in the past, or playing out events that happened ages ago, which we have no control over now. When you look at the great sports people, they knew how to live in the moment, in the present, and give it 100%, whether it was in a professional game or practice. It was always 100%. A great example of this is Michael Jordan. If you watch the Last Dance documentary on Netflix, they said that he was so good because he had that kind of Zen type philosophy in his mind. The reason why he was so good is because he lived in that moment as the first and last. So he gave 100% effort in every single session of practice and in professional games. He would practice like he would be in a professional game. So that amount of discipline and commitment was so important to him. And that's why he was the best, I guess, you know. That's what made him the best. Another hindrance he talks about is skeptical doubt. This is when the mind gets lost and doubt and question. Can I do this? Is this the right path or way? What will people think? The mental and physical can't keep in sync with each other. How do we recognize this, he says? Well, when you start to see the swaying away of your goals and aspirations you once had set for yourself, this is when you know you need to get back on track. So he talks about when you go off the path of your goals and you're not seeing them clearly, and you're not following a certain, for example, like for a transformation journey, not following the plan, not adhering to the plan, and you're going off, you're not exercising that much, then that's when you realize you're coming off track and you need to come back on. So the body transformation is a perfect example for this, right? So when your mind is cluttered with too much doubt, you will often stop following the goals. Your desires start to diminish. So this is why it's so important to adhere to the process when it comes to the body transformation and the exercise, because like we were saying, in the first couple of months, you might, depending on your body percentage, you might not see much change, but there's changes happening inside your body. Don't ever forget that changes are happening. But when you don't see it, then this is a perfect example of the skepticism and the doubts kicking in. So when that kicks in, you think, I should just give up. And I've been through it as well. I used to do it when I was on these 12-week programs, and I would get put on more weight after I would finish it because I wouldn't see the results in the first month anyway, so I would give up. But adhering to the process and trusting the process and not having doubt is the best thing you can do when you want to transform your body. You have to stick it through and stay with it and believe that the process will work. If you have the right guidance, it will work. So just have to stick with it, yeah, with patience. So they're the 5 hindrances that Master Shi Heng Yi talks about, which really are so related to the human characteristics. Okay guys, so I'll see you in the next video.